tired.
It's been a long journey.
Not in the saddle, but in the mind.
All our journeys are in the mind.
In my mind. I wish I never left her far. Forgive me for all of my faults, all of my failings. No regrets.
No regrets. And yet, every regret.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hello, Katheryn. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Well, everyone, we are here with the very talented Katheryn Winnick, also known as Lagertha, from the hit show Vikings on the History Channel. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the show and of your character. How would you describe Lagertha to people who haven't seen the show?
How would I describe Lagertha? She is a force to be reckoned with. She's definitely very fierce, and she's also feminine and a woman and strong in her own way. And I think a lot of people relate to her in different cultures and different ethnicities and in different time periods. I think that's why people really identify with her.
Definitely. I think that your character has already become kind of a legend. Not only do men adore her, but I think women look up to her as a role model for strength.
Yeah, it's such an amazing character to play just because it is so versed. Obviously, I play a warrior, a shield maiden, but also a young mother and now in a position of strength as being an earl and having all that stripped away from me and now trying to find the strength within my own self. And I think that's where she is in season 4B. She definitely has to rely on herself more than she ever has in the past.
Well, I know that you actually have 2 black belts and you're even a licensed bodyguard. So I'm guessing that these fight scenes come pretty naturally to you.
Yeah, I grew up playing or training martial arts at the age of 7. So I got my first black belt when I was 13. Started my own martial arts school at 16 and had 3 by the time I was 21. So martial arts was a big part of my upbringing. I started teaching actors martial arts and movie sets before I was an actor. And my dream was always to find a role that I can really combine both my loves, the love of martial arts and the action side of it, but also storytelling and great writing and great characters and really diverse, complicated, rich roles. And I think Lagertha is definitely one of my favorite roles I've ever played, and definitely an honor to be on Vikings, getting a chance to play here.
That's very cool. And that definitely would fit all of that. I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite scene that you've shot on the show so far?
My favorite scene to shoot so far? I would say shooting a scene with the seer is always interesting, just because you're working with John Kavanagh, who's a great Irish actor, and he is in prosthetics for almost 3 hours. So his whole face is covered, and the only part of his face that moves that is live is really just his mouth. So you're really acting to his mouth. But it's really inspiring just to work with him because he brings so much in his voice and his persona just in what you get from him. And I don't know if you know that the tradition of when you go see the seer at the end of your interaction with him, he gives you his hand and you're supposed to lick it from top to bottom. Right. And that is something that we completely improvised the very first time we shot with the seer. And I remember when Lagertha did it, we weren't really prepared for it. And after 2-3 hours of prosthetics and going into the special effects makeup, they did makeup on his hands and it was full of all these latex stuff and, crazy tasting things, and obviously they weren't prepared for me to lick it, but had to do that, and had to do it probably about 10 times because of the different angles in the tapes. But that stuck, and I still have that taste in my mouth. So I don't know if that's my favorite scene. Maybe that's not the right word, but it's definitely memorable.
That definitely was. And I know it's actually been a huge buzz on social media as well. So I have some questions about Lagertha's character. I wanted to ask, what do you think stopped her from killing Aslong in the show? Because it's such a kill or be killed sort of mentality in the Viking world. And
Well, Lagertha is a very moral character. She definitely trusts in the gods and her belief system. And I think she was more upset with Ragnar making the choice of putting her in a position where he wanted her to live with this other woman who now was in season 2 was impregnated by his son. So I think she was more hurt, and definitely her sense of pride didn't allow her to be ever the second fiddle or the second wife. So she had no choice but to leave. And I don't think it was necessarily a personal threat with Aslog, but definitely in season 4 and what you're about to see, and how she is queen now, and how she's ruling Kattegat, and how she's not necessarily ruling properly, and it's not where it should be. Kattegat is her home, and that's her sense of family, and it's pretty heartbreaking for Lagertha to see it so run down and so poorly managed. And I think it leaves her with no choice but to do something about it.
well, that's actually a good segue, because your son, Björn, in the show is a very brave character. Do you think that Lagertha wants him to become the Viking king?
Lagertha loves Björn. He obviously helped raise him to be Björn Ironside and come into his own and be a strong warrior in his own right. Does she want him to be king? Of course she wants the best for him. But she is not one that's ever going to force anything on anyone. He has his own ambitions, and one of the big things that he wanted to do was explore different lands. So Alexander Ludwig, who plays Björn Ironside, who plays him fantastically, ends up going to the Mediterranean in season 4B. So you are going to see a different landscape, you're going to see different storylines, you're going to see him evolve as a character and really taking the forefront and being a leading man alongside with Ragnar and the other sons of Ragnar. So she won't necessarily push that on him, but is maybe grooming him for the future.
That's great. Well, actually, I know that you have some new cast joining us in season 5. Can you tell us a bit about what's to come?
Yeah, we got a phenomenal new actor new character that joined our cast, and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers plays a Bishop Heckmond, who is not only a member of the church, but also a strong warrior. And Lagertha has a lot of scenes with him, and he is phenomenal to work with, and very rich and as an actor, and very giving, and just a lovely, lovely person, and talented and a lovely human being. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. We also have some major epic scenes coming up, and we shoot some of the scenes in Iceland, so you will see Iceland this year in season 5.
Wow. Well, and I know you guys have actually been shooting in Ireland for most of season 5, is that right?
We have shot in Ireland. We also shot in, I don't even know if I can say where else I shot. We shot in different parts of Europe as well. That is a completely different landscape, but our core crew members and our core sets are based in Ireland, yes, outside of Dublin.
Fantastic. Well, I wanted to wish you the best with all of your success, Katheryn, and it looks like you're having a lot of fun doing it, and I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, Kimberly.
And I just want to say thank you for being on the show. It has been such a pleasure talking with you.
Aw, thanks, Kimberly.
And everybody, make sure that you don't miss the next season of the show Vikings on the History Channel. Thanks again for joining us.